After 50, there are things that sound safe, but quietly make your body weaker, week by week, without you noticing. You still walk. You're careful. You avoid anything that feels too much. And then one day, you stand up from a chair and you need your hands. You climb a few steps and your knees feel shaky. You step up onto a curb and suddenly, you don't feel steady. Here's the truth most people never hear. The problem is often not your knees, not your lower back. It's a powerful muscle group that slowly goes offline with age. Your glutes. When your glutes get weak, it doesn't just change your shape. It changes your whole support system. Your hips lose their natural strength. So, your lower back tries to do the work. Your knees take extra stress, and your steps become less stable. Exactly the kind of instability that raises fall risk. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 simple, safe exercises you can do at home to wake up your glutes and build real strength quickly. And just as important, it'll show you how to do them in a way that protects your joints and doesn't strain your back. But before we start the first move, you need to understand one key thing. When your glutes are weak, what exactly happens to your back, your knees, and your balance? Watch all the way through.
All right,
because this part can change the way you exercise for the rest of your life. Many people over 50 assume back pain and knee pain are just worn out joints, something you have to accept. But in musculoskeletal medicine, there's a very clear chain reaction.
It can be overlooked.
When your glutes, especially the gluteus maximus and gluteus medius, get weak, your pelvis becomes less stable. And once that stability is gone, every step you take changes. Your thigh bone tends to rotate inward more easily. Your knee is more likely to drift inward under load. And your lower back starts to tense up, just to keep you upright. In biomechanics and physical therapy research, this is often described as a compensation pattern. The glutes aren't doing enough work, so the back extensors and the front thigh muscles start doing the job instead. That's why some people feel a tired, tight lower back after standing or walking. Knee discomfort, especially when climbing stairs or getting up from a chair. And that subtle, unsteady feeling when turning, stepping sideways, or changing direction. And here's the frustrating part. You can walk every single day and your glutes can still stay asleep because a light, steady walking pace often doesn't activate those muscles strongly enough to rebuild them. That's why you don't need harder workouts. You need the right movements done the right way. And before we choose those movements, you need to understand exactly why walking alone isn't enough. Because that's the mistake that keeps millions of older adults stuck. Walking is still great for your heart, your blood sugar, and your mood. But if your goal is stronger glutes so your back and knees don't have to carry the load, then walking usually misses 2 key things: enough force and the right working angles. When you walk at an easy pace, your glutes often only contribute a small amount, almost like they're running on energy-saving mode. You can walk 30 minutes, even 60 minutes, and your glutes may never be challenged enough to actually grow stronger. Meanwhile, your front thighs and your lower back can start doing more of the work, especially if you developed a shorter step, a slightly rounded posture, or you avoid pushing through your heel because you're trying not to hurt. So, what do you really need? Movements that match real life. Standing up from a chair, stepping up, balancing on one leg, and keeping your hips steady without wobbling. Those are the exact skills that decide whether you feel confident on stairs or steady when you turn quickly in the kitchen. If you're over 50 and you still walk every day, do one small thing for me. Type 1-inch the comments so I know you're part of that consistent walker group. And keep watching, because in the next part, I'm going to show you 5 very safe, very effective exercises that wake your glutes up the right way without heavy weights. If you remember just one rule after 50, remember this: less done correctly builds more strength than more done incorrectly.
Gradually, with
your glutes, the goal is not how hard you try. The goal is whether you're activating the right muscle. So before we jump into the 5 exercises, let's lock in 4 simple safety rules.
Now let's move on.
Rule 1, control matters more than counting.
It's common, it's
Every
familiar,
repetition should be slow and steady so you can actually feel your glutes doing the work.
A common antibiotic
Rule
class
2,
can affect
always
heart
use a
rhythm.
support.
And in
One
older
hand
adults, it
on a
can
chair,
also connect
a wall,
to concerns
a counter,
about major
or a
drug group
railing.
number 6 is
Safety
an
is
antibiotic
more
class
important
many
than
people have
pride.
taken at least once.
Rule
It's
3.
often seen as strong,
Use a
fast,
comfortable
and
range of
convenient.
motion.
That's why it
You
matters.
don't need to go
Because it
deep.
feels effective,
You
it
just need to
sometimes
work
gets
in the
prescribed
range
too
where your
casually.
knees and
But
back
after
stay
60,
quiet
casual
and your
prescribing
glutes
can
start to
become risky.
speak.
We
Rule
need better
4.
questions.
Breathe
This is the
normally and stop
fluoroquinolone
if you
group.
feel sharp
Names
joint
you may
pain.
hear include ciprofloxacin,
A warm, burning
levofloxacin,
muscle feeling
and
is okay.
moxifloxacin.
A sharp,
Keep those in
stabbing
mind.
joint pain is
In
a
older
signal that
adults,
something
especially
needs
with
to
heart
be
disease,
adjusted.
high blood
Once you
pressure, or
follow
rhythm
these 4
issues,
rules,
this group
your
can raise
workout
risk
can look
in 2
easy,
big ways.
but the
2 ways
results
you
can
should
be
know.
powerful. And now we
And if
begin
you're
with
taking
exercise
multiple
number 5,
medications,
the most
the risk
real-life
conversation
movement on
gets
this
even
list,
more
so
important
you can step up
because
onto stairs
interactions
and
can
curbs with
stack.
more
First
confidence.
risk, it can
Exercise
affect the
number
heart's
5
electrical
is the
system.
step up.
That means
You
rhythm,
can use a
not
low
pain,
stair,
rhythm.
a sturdy step
And rhythm
platform,
problems can be
or even a
dangerous.
solid
It may
doorstep.
prolong
This is one of the
QT
most
interval. That's a
real-life
medical
movements you
term.
can train
But
because
what it
every
points to
day
is a higher
you have to
chance of
step up
rhythm
onto
disturbance
something.
in vulnerable
Stairs,
people.
curves,
Second risk,
a
there have
bus,
been
a
warnings and
doorway step.
concerns related
Here
to
is the
major
safe
blood
way to do
vessels,
it.
especially if someone already
Stand
has
facing
weak
the
vessel
step,
walls
with one
or
hand
aneurysm
lightly
risk.
holding a railing,
You don't need
a
to
chair,
memorize every term.
or a counter.
You just need one
Place your
sentence
whole
you
foot
can
on the
use.
step,
One
especially your
sentence that
heel.
protects you
Lean
and
forward
guides the
just a little.
conversation. Here it is.
Then press
If
through
I'm
the
over
heel to
60
stand
and
up.
I'm prescribed a
And
strong
think of it this
antibiotic,
way.
I have the
You're
right
using
to
your
ask,
glute to lift
is
you,
there a safer
not
option
yanking
for my
your
heart?
body up with your knee.
Because many
Then
mild
step back
infections
down
can be
slowly
treated with
with
other
control.
choices.
One of our
Choices that may be
patients,
more appropriate
Robert,
for your age,
67,
your heart, and your
told
medication
us,
list.
6 steps
Please don't
and my
reuse
heart
an old
races,
prescription on your own.
and my knee
The same
stings.
symptom today
So,
doesn't mean the
we
same
started
situation.
simple.
And your
A
body
very
this year
low
isn't
step up,
last year's body.
6 to 8
If
reps
you've ever
per
taken
leg,
an antibiotic and
3
felt
times a week.
palpitations, fast
After
heartbeats,
about
or
3
dizziness,
weeks,
write
he
it
said the
down.
biggest
Note the
change
name,
wasn't
the
just
timing,
strength.
and how you
It
felt.
was the feeling of being
Next, we move
steady
to
when his
something
foot
almost every
landed on
home
the
has in
step.
a drawer.
That
Pain and
confidence matters.
inflammation pills.
It
And
reduces
this is where many
hesitation.
hearts get pushed
And
too hard,
hesitation is
quietly.
often where falls
Drug group
start.
number 5
If
is
your knee
pain and
feels like it's
inflammation
taking
pills.
too much
The
load,
kind people treat
lower the
casually.
step height,
If it hurts,
or
just
slow
take
the
one.
movement down
But the
even
heart may
more.
pay the price.
And once you
Think
feel steadier
ibuprofen,
stepping up,
naproxen,
we move to a
diclofenac, and
small
other joint pain
exercise that
medicines.
fixes one of the
Very
most
common,
common
very
mistakes
available,
people make:
and
glute
that's why they're
kickbacks.
easy to overuse.
Exercise number
This
4
group can
is the
load the
glute
heart in
kickback.
several ways at the same
It
time.
looks simple,
Not just
but
one
it trains
pathway,
the exact
several.
action your
So you may
glutes were
not
designed
connect
to
the
do.
dots right away.
Hip
First,
extension,
it can raise
pushing the
blood
leg
pressure,
back with control.
especially if you already struggle
And
with
this is not just
hypertension, so
fitness
your
talk.
numbers become
In
harder
clinical
to control,
and rehab
even if
research,
nothing else
using
changed.
EMG,
All right,
electrical
now we
muscle
begin the
testing,
list.
hip
Drug
extension
group number
variations
7
can light up
may
the
surprise
gluteus
you.
maximus at
Let's
very
start
high
here
levels.
and keep
In
it
one
simple.
well-known rehab study,
All right,
a
now we
hip
begin the
extension
list.
variation
Drug
performed
group
in a
number
supported
7
plank
may
position
surprise you.
produced glute
Let's start
activation
here
a little
and
over
keep it simple.
100% of
All
MVIG,
right, now we
meaning
begin
the
the list.
glute was working
Drug group
extremely
number
hard,
7 may
exactly the
surprise you.
kind of signal that
Let's
helps
start
wake it
here
up and
and
rebuild
keep it
strength.
simple. It's a
Now,
stomach
your
medicine many
kickback is a
people think is
safer,
harmless.
simpler cousin
It
of that
feels
idea
routine,
because we can
and that's
control the
exactly
range
why
and
it
protect
can
the
be
joints.
overlooked.
Here is how to do
It's
it
a stomach
safely.
medicine many
Hold the
people
back of
think
a
is
chair or
harmless.
the kitchen
It
counter.
feels routine,
Gently brace your
and
belly.
that's exactly why
Keep your
it can be
spine neutral,
overlooked.
no arching.
It's a stomach
Then
medicine
drive the
many
heel
people
back.
think is harmless.
Pause for
It
1
feels
second
routine,
and squeeze the
and that's
glute
exactly
and
why
lower
it can be
slowly.
overlooked.
If you feel your lower
This
back
is the
taking
PPI
over,
group,
that's your
proton
warning
pump
sign.
inhibitors.
You're going too
You'll
high
recognize
and
them
you're
as
arching.
common reflux
Make the
pills.
movement
A lot
smaller
of people take
and
them
keep it
daily,
strict.
but this is
Once
the
you
PPI
truly
group,
feel the glute
proton
doing the
pump
work,
inhibitors.
we move to
You'll
an
recognize
exercise
them
on the
as
floor
common
that's
reflux
powerful for
pills.
rebuilding
A lot of people
strength
take them
without
daily.
stressing the joint.
This is the
The
PPI
glute
group,
bridge.
proton pump
Exercise number
inhibitors.
3 is
You'll
the glute
recognize them
bridge.
as common
For many
reflux
people over
pills.
50,
A lot of
this
people
is a
take them
lifesaver
daily.
movement
Many
because it
older
builds the
adults use them
backside
for
strength your
reflux,
body needs.
burning, sour
But it can be
taste,
very
bloating.
joint friendly
Sometimes
when you
it's
do
just
it correctly.
discomfort.
Here is your
Sometimes it's
setup.
constant.
Lie on your
Many
back.
older adults use
Bend
them
your
for
knees.
reflux,
Place
burning,
your feet
sour
flat on
taste,
the floor,
bloating.
about
Sometimes
hip
it's
width
just
apart.
discomfort.
Keep your
Sometimes
arms
it's
by your
constant.
sides for
And many
stability.
older adults
Before
use
you
them
lift,
for reflux,
use this small
burning,
cue.
sour taste,
Imagine
bloating.
you're gently
Sometimes
dragging
it's
your
just
heels
discomfort.
toward your glutes
Sometimes it's
without
constant
actually moving them.
or vague
That
stomach
little
pain
intention
comes
helps
and
your
goes.
glutes switch on.
And people
Now
stay
the
on
lift.
them for years.
Exhale.
It becomes
Press
normal,
through your
almost
heels
automatic.
and raise your hips
Or
until your
vague
shoulders,
stomach pain that
hips,
comes and
and
goes.
knees are almost
And
in a
people
straight
stay on
line.
them for years.
You do not need to
It
go
becomes
higher
normal,
than that.
almost
At the
automatic.
top, pause for
Or
2
vague
seconds
stomach
and
pain
squeeze
that
your
comes and
glutes
goes.
like you're trying to
And
hold a
people
piece of
stay
paper
on them
between
for
them.
years.
Then
It
lower
becomes
down
normal,
slowly for
almost
about 3
automatic.
seconds. The most
The
common
point is not
mistake is
that
letting the
PPIs are
lower back
always
take
bad.
over.
For some
If your back
people,
feels
they're
tight
truly
or
helpful.
strained,
The
make the
concern
lift
is how
smaller
long they're
and think
used.
ribs
The
down,
point is not that
belly gently
PPIs are
braced,
always bad.
hips lifting
For
from
some
the
people,
glutes,
they're truly
not from the
helpful.
spine.
The concern
Start with
is
2
how
sets of
long
8 to
they're
10
used.
reps.
The
When that
point is
feels
not that
steady and
PPIs are
controlled,
always
move
bad.
up to
For
12
some
reps
people,
before
they're
you
truly
even think
helpful.
about harder
The concern
variations.
is how
And once
long
your
they're
bridge
used.
feels solid,
The real
we go
issue
to a
is
seated
long-term
movement that looks
daily
simple,
use, like a
but it
habit,
protects your
day
walking
after
pattern
day,
and your
month after
balance.
month. That's when
The
the risk
seated band
conversation
abduction.
matters. If the real
Exercise
issue
number
is
2 is the
long-term
seated band
daily
abduction.
use, like a habit,
A lot of
day
people
after
skip this
day,
one
month
because it
after
looks
month,
too easy,
that's when the risk
but it
conversation
targets a
matters.
muscle that
The
protects your
real issue
balance.
is long-term
The side
daily
glute, your
use, like a
gluteus
habit,
medius.
day
This
after
muscle
day,
helps
month
keep
after
your
month.
pelvis
That's when
steady
the
when
risk
you walk,
conversation matters.
when you step
With
sideways,
long-term use,
and when
the
you
body
stand
can
on
shift
one
in
leg.
quiet ways.
When it gets
And
weak,
those shifts
your
may
hips
not be
can start
friendly
to
to the
sway.
heart.
Your
It's
knees can
subtle,
drift
but it
inward,
can add up.
and you may
With
notice you
long-term
trip
use,
more
the body
easily,
can shift
or
in
you feel
quiet
safer
ways.
taking
And
tiny
those
steps.
shifts may not be friendly to
Here's
the
how
heart.
to do it.
It's
Sit
subtle,
tall on a
but it can
sturdy
add
chair.
up. And
Place
with
a
long-term
resistance
use,
band
the
around
body
your
can
thighs,
shift in quiet
just
ways.
above your knees.
And those shifts may not
Feet
be
flat on
friendly
the
to the
floor.
heart. It's
Gently
subtle,
brace your
but it
belly.
can add up.
Keep your spine upright.
Some
Now,
evidence suggests
slowly press your
long-term
knees
use may
outward
be
like
linked
you're
with
pushing
less
against an
flexible
invisible
blood
wall
vessels.
with the outside
Less
of your thighs.
flexibility means
Hold for 2
Some
seconds at
evidence
the open
suggests
position.
long-term use may be
You
linked
should
with
feel
less
a warm
flexible
burn
blood
on the
vessels.
sides of your
Less
glutes.
flexibility
Then
means
return
stronger
slowly.
responses.
One
And
of
that
our
can matter
patients,
after 60.
Linda,
Some
72,
evidence
told us,
suggests long-term
"I don't
use
have
may
strong
be linked
pain,
with less
but when I
flexible
turn,
blood vessels.
I feel wobbly."
Less flexibility
So we gave her this
responses.
seated
And it may
abduction
mean a
daily 2
stronger
sets of
tightened
12
response
reps,
in sensitive
very
people.
slow.
Not
After about
everyone.
2 weeks,
But
she
if you're
said the
vulnerable,
biggest change was
it's worth
simple but
discussing.
meaningful.
And it
She
may
could
mean
stand
a
at the sink
stronger
longer
tightened
without
response
feeling
in
one hip
sensitive
tire
people.
out.
Not
And when
everyone.
she stepped sideways
But if
to
you're
reach for
vulnerable,
something,
it's
she
worth
felt
discussing.
noticeably more
And it
confident.
may mean a
And once
stronger
your side
tightening
glutes start
response
waking
in
up,
sensitive people.
we move to the
Not everyone.
strongest
But
exercise
if
on
you're
this list,
vulnerable,
with a
it's
very
worth
safe
discussing.
version you can do even
Now,
if you're
don't panic.
cautious.
Go back
The
to
Bulgarian
the
split
3-question
squat.
framework. This is
Exercise
about
number 1
clarity,
is the
not
Bulgarian
fear,
split
so you
squat.
stay in control.
I know,
Now,
the
don't
name
panic.
sounds
Go
intimidating,
back to the
but when you do the
3-question
safe
framework.
version,
This is
this
about
becomes one of the
clarity,
most
not
real-life
fear,
strength
so
builders
you
you can
stay in
train after
control.
50.
Now,
Because
don't
daily
panic.
life is
Go
full
back
of
to the
one-leg
3-question
moments.
framework.
Stepping up,
This is about
standing from a
clarity,
chair,
not fear,
catching yourself
so
when
you
you
stay in
turn,
control.
staying
Ask
steady when the
yourself,
ground isn't
how long have I
perfectly
been
even.
taking this?
And from a medical
Weeks,
movement
months,
perspective,
years.
this isn't
That
just a
one
gym
detail
feeling.
changes
Researchers
everything.
have used surface
Ask yourself,
EMG
how
muscle
long have I
activity
been
testing
taking
to
this?
measure what turns
Weeks,
on during the
months,
Bulgarian
years.
split squat,
That one
including the
detail
gluteus
changes
maximus
everything.
and gluteus
Ask yourself,
medius.
how
In
long
other
have I been
words,
taking
we can
this?
see it on data.
Weeks,
This
months,
exercise can
years.
strongly
That
recruit the
one
glutes,
detail changes
especially when
everything.
your body
Next
position
question,
and technique
do
are
I
set
truly
correctly.
need it every single
Now,
day?
let's do the safe
Or am I
version.
using it because it's
Stand
become
next to a
routine?
kitchen counter or a
Be honest
sturdy
with that.
railing, and
Next
keep one
question,
hand
do
there
I
the whole
truly need
time.
it every single
Place
day?
your back foot
Or
on a
am I
low
using it
chair or a
because it's
stable
become
step
routine?
behind you.
Be
Then
honest
lower
with
down
that.
only a small amount
Next
just
question,
into a
do I
range where your
truly
front
need
knee
it
feels
every
calm.
single day?
Your
Or
goal
am I
is not
using it
depth.
because it's
Your
become
goal is
routine?
control.
Be honest
Keep your
with
front
that.
knee pointing
And
in the
ask,
same
what
direction as your
habits are
toes.
keeping me
Shift
dependent
your
on
weight
it?
into the
Because
heel of the
sometimes
front
it's
foot,
not the stomach.
and as you
It's
rise,
the schedule,
come up
the
slowly
food, the timing.
and squeeze your
And
glute
ask,
at the top.
what habits are keeping
If
me
you feel a
dependent
sharp
on it?
pinch in the knee,
Because sometimes
make
it's
the
not the
movement
stomach,
smaller.
it's the schedule,
And if the
the
back
food,
foot
the
setup feels
timing.
too high,
And ask,
lower
what
it.
habits are
The
keeping
safer
me
you make
dependent
it,
on it?
the more
Because
consistent you'll
sometimes it's
be.
not the
And
stomach,
consistency
it's the
is where
schedule,
strength
the
actually
food,
comes
the
from.
timing.
Now that
Here's
you
a
know
very
the
common
strongest
pattern.
move on
A
this
late
list
dinner,
and the
then lying
safest
down
way to do
quickly,
it next,
burn shows
he'll
up
show
at
you
night or
exactly
early
how to
morning,
organize
and the
all
pill
5
becomes the fix.
exercises into
Here's
a
a very
simple
common
2 to
pattern.
3 day
A
weekly
late dinner,
plan that
then
builds
lying down
strength
quickly,
fast while
burn
keeping your
shows up at
joints
night or
comfortable.
early morning,
Here's the
and the
simplest
pill
way to
becomes the
organize
fix.
these 5
Here's a very common
exercises,
pattern.
so it's
A late
easy to
dinner,
follow
then
and
lying
not
down
exhausting.
quickly, the burn
Do
shows
this
up at
2 to
night
3
or
days
early
per
morning,
week,
and the
with at
pill
least
becomes the
one
fix.
rest day between
You wake up
sessions.
with chest
For
burning,
example,
feels scary,
Monday and
but
Thursday,
sometimes it's
or
reflux.
Monday, Wednesday,
And the habit
Friday.
continues because
Each
it works
session can be
fast.
just 15
You
to
wake
20
up with
minutes.
chest burning,
Use
it feels
this order.
scary.
Start
But
with the
sometimes
seated
it's
band
reflux.
abduction to wake up the
And the
side
habit
glutes,
continues
2
because it
sets of
works
12.
fast.
Then the
You
glute
wake up
bridge
with
to
chest
activate
burning,
the
it
big
feels
glute
scary.
muscle, 2
But
sets of
sometimes
8
it's
to 10.
reflux.
Then glute
And the
kickbacks
habit
to lock and
continues
hip
because it
extension
works
technique,
fast.
2 sets of
Coffee on
8
an
to
empty
10 per
stomach is
leg.
another big trigger.
Then
It
step ups
irritates irritates the
real-life
stomach
strength.
Then
2
reflux
sets of
gets
6
worse,
to 8 per
and
leg.
medicine becomes
Finish
your
with the
daily
Bulgarian
shield.
split squat
Coffee on an
shallow
empty
range
stomach is another
with
big
support
trigger. It
1 to
irritates
2
the
sets
stomach
of
lining.
6 per leg.
Then reflux gets
Now
worse,
here's the
and the
progression
medicine
rule
becomes
that
your
keeps
daily
your
shield.
joints happy.
Coffee on an empty
Increase
stomach
reps
is another
first.
big trigger.
When you
It
can reach the
irritates
top end of
stomach
the rep
lining.
range with
Then
smooth
reflux gets
control and
worse,
comfortable
and the
joints,
medicine becomes your
only
daily
then do you
shield.
make it harder by
Spicy or
going a
acidic
little
foods
slower,
can do the same
holding
thing.
the squeeze
The PPI
longer,
becomes
or
your
using
armor.
a slightly
But armor
higher
every
step.
day has a
And to
cost,
make
so
sure
we
you
look for
don't get
smarter
stuck.
options.
In the
Spicy
next
or
part,
acidic foods
I'm
can do
going
the
to show
same
you
thing.
3 clear
The
warning
PPI
signs
becomes
that
your
you're
armor.
doing it
But
wrong,
armor
because
every day
even a
has a
small
cost,
mistake
so we
can
look
make
for
your back
smarter
and knees
options.
steal the work
Spicy or
immediately.
acidic foods can
Here
do
are
the same
3
thing.
clear
The
signs you need
PPI
to
becomes your
adjust so
armor.
your glutes
But
do the
armor
work
every day has a
and your
cost,
back
so
and
we look
knees
for
get a
smarter
break.
options.
Sign number
Sometimes
1.
3 simple
You
changes
feel your
reduce the
lower
need.
back
Not
working more
always,
than your
but often.
glutes. That usually happens when you arch your back to lift higher. Fix it by making the movement smaller, gently bracing your belly, and thinking, ribs down. Sign number 2, your front knee collapses inward, or you feel a sharp sting in the knee during the down and up. That often means your side glute isn't supporting the leg, or you're loading the toes too much. Fix it by guiding the knee in the same direction as your toes and pushing more through the heel. Sign number 3, you do a lot of reps, but your glutes never talk back the next day. That usually means you're moving too fast. Slow down. Pause 1 to 2 seconds at the squeeze and reduce the reps so the quality stays high. If you want, leave a comment and tell me if you'd like a separate video on how to fix that knee caving in problem, because it's one of the biggest reasons people feel pain and quit. And if these tips helped you understand your body more clearly, tap the like button right now, because it helps this reach other people over 50 who are quietly getting weaker without realizing it. Now, in the final part, I'm going to summarize everything in a way you can remember and start using today. Remember the big picture after 50. The goal is not to suffer through workouts. The goal is to stand up easier, climb stairs with confidence, and walk around your home without that shaky, unsteady feeling. Now, you have 5 core exercises. Step-ups, so you're stronger every time you step up. Kickbacks, so your glutes relearn their real job. Glute bridges, to build strong backside power in a joint-friendly way. Seated abductions, to wake up the side glutes that protect balance. And the safe Bulgarian split squat, to train real one-leg strength you use in daily life. All you need is 2 to 3 sessions per week, 15 to 20 minutes. Move slowly. Use good form, and keep the 4 rules in mind: control, support, comfortable range, and no sharp joint pain. If you want a simple challenge, pick just one exercise you like most, and try it today, 5 minutes only. Then come back and leave a comment telling me which one you did and what you felt in your glutes. I read every comment, and if this helped you, subscribe so I can keep making simple, safe videos that help you get stronger for real. And in the next video, it'll show you a quick 45-second test that tells you whether your glutes are weak or working well, so you know exactly what level you need.